Today on the Family Law Vlog, I'm joined again by my colleague Nigel Shepherd, who is Mr No Fault Divorce, who is a former chair of Resolution, twice over actually, and we're just going to do a quick update on the proposed changes to the law on divorce. So Nigel, the last vlog that we did was back in May last year, May 2019. We're recording this in January 2020. What happened to the legislation that we were discussing back in May last year?
Well, Caitlin, it was a bit like that whack-a-mole game that you may remember from being children, and the reforms that kept on sticking their head up and then getting clobbered by the mallet, first of all of the summer recess, secondly then by the prorogation of Parliament, which the Supreme Court subsequently ruled to be unlawful, and then finally by the general election.
So as we discuss this now in January 2020, what's the current position following the general election in December 2019?
Well, it's been brought back again. I mean, the government always made it absolutely clear that it hadn't gone away permanently. It was just sort of temporary postponement. So it's back again. It's had its first reading in the House of Lords, and we're waiting, I think, at the moment for a second reading date. So it does look at last as if this is actually going to happen, this legislation.
So what are the provisions in the current proposed legislation? Are they the same as they were last time when we were talking about it in May last year?
Yes, the bill is completely unchanged, Caitlin. What we're going to have is a notification period for divorce, which will sweep away all of the current blame grounds that we've got at the moment. There'll be no real ability to contest the divorce, so it will be a much kinder, simpler process in that sense, and much better for the families that we're advising.
And would you still be able to make a joint notice, a joint application together if you want to under the new proposed legislation?
Yes, everything is exactly the same as it was before. It's just been brought back unchanged effectively, but we will have to start the process again in terms of going through Parliament. But we're really not expecting too much opposition, and I think it's just now a matter of time. It's a matter of when, not if.
So if all goes well through Parliament and the bill makes its way smoothly into law, when do we think that the changes in the law might actually come into effect and people will be able to use the new law to divorce rather than the current law?
I think the reality is it's going to be 2021 rather than 2020, hopefully earlier in 2021 rather than later. But there'll be quite a lot of work to be done on the rules and the forms and getting the new procedure into place. So a little while yet, but it is coming. It's sooner rather than later.
So a potential client looking at this, what should our clients be thinking about if they're thinking about divorce at the moment? Should they wait for the new legislation?
I think for those people that might be considering a 2-year separation divorce at the moment and can afford to sort things out without the actual divorce process, for example, they may not need pension sharing, I think that they probably can afford to wait. For others, it may be too long a wait. They may need to get on and sort things out and to be able to move forward with their lives. I think one important thing to note is that if you have been apart, when this new law comes into force, your period of separation prior to you giving notification won't be taken into account. So you'll still have that effectively 6-month wait. And I think that's something that we have to take into account when we're advising our clients about this particular issue.
So the reality is we're hopeful that the change in law will come. We're not exactly sure when that will be, but it may not be for a year or so. And as always with the Family Law Vlog, these are general advice and general information. And if you want advice about your specific position and your circumstance, then you should take advice from a specialist family law solicitor. My details, Nigel's details, and those of the rest of the family law team at Mills & Reeve are at the end of this blog.